Today's build is on the way of the Battlemaster Monk. Now it sounds like it's going to be a Battlemaster Monk multi-class, but it is not. This is going to be straight Battlemaster, taking all of the flavor from Monk, but none of the levels. So let's jump into it. Starting off with race, we're going to want to take a race that makes us feel like a monk, someone who's highly mobile. The first one that comes into mind is tabaxi, because tabaxi you get that burst speed and it's a lot of speed. Plus we're going into melee combat and we're a grappler, so there's a good chance that we're going to be holding still for a turn anyways while we're just in combat, and so we can start off combat with a burst speed, but if we need it again, we'll probably just be able to use it again. And it's really going to help us with that opening turn of closing the distance and then potentially chasing someone down or whatever else we may need speed for. Not only that though, tabaxi gives us a climbing speed, which is going to allow us to do more interesting things with our mobility if there's a wall to climb. Dhampir is another thought because we have spider climb, which increases our mobility and just a base natural increase to our movement speed. So yeah, anything that's helping us with our mobility is really what I'm looking at for these races, and specifically in a monk-like fashion. As for our fighting style, we definitely want our unarmored fighting style because we're going to be mostly using unarmed attacks, and that's going to give us D8 unarmed attacks, and if we took tabaxi, we get to choose between either bludgeoning or slashing, which is pretty cool. So it gives us that monk-like vibe, but we're going to combine it with things like grappling with a proficiency in athletics, so we can mix it up and do scary things with grappling along with our strikes. At third level, we're going to be, you guessed it, going way with the Battlemaster, and we're only going to be taking maneuvers that increase our monk-like flavor. I think the one that stands out the most to me is the disarming strike. Now what's so cool about disarming strike is that when we disarm them, we are unarmored, so we can instantly grab their weapon and start kicking their ass with their own weapon. Another fun one is quick toss. Just like monks can catch something out of the air and then throw it, we can disarm them, catch their weapon out of the air, and then instantly yeet it at another enemy across the way. Doing cool things like that can be a lot of fun. Honestly, just go through the maneuvers and say, does this feel monk-like to me? If the answer is yes, probably take it. Things like pushing attack, where you're knocking them 15 feet away from you, is awesome for kicking people off edges. Tripping attack, get them on the ground, hook them up with your grapple, or just beat them with advantage. There's a lot of cool things you can do here. So I think that's where this character really shines, is that creative and interesting play style and fighting style. Mix in a bunch of flavor where you're tripping them and grabbing them, punching them when they're on the ground, and you're doing all of this in heavy armor. So it's kind of an interesting look for a monk. Now once we get to fourth level, we need to start considering feats. Now unlike most of my builds, I'm not going to say exactly what we're doing with point buy, because not everyone's doing point buy. So what I'll say is strength is our primary, constitution is our secondary, and wisdom is our tertiary. So whatever you can get, try and set it up in that order. Now our main priority is likely just going to be strength, but let's say we have an odd strength, then I'm going to be looking at skill expert to get us expertise in athletics, so we're even better at grappling, and to round out our strength to continue it further, trying to get to that 20 strength. As for my flavor, I would be flavoring it just like a monk. I would try and do a more archetypical version of the monk than I normally would. Usually I like to kind of play with the archetype, but if I'm not a monk, playing into the archetype of monk is going against the archetype of fighter, if that makes sense. So I actually would really play into it. Monasteries, meditation on top of mountains, the whole shebang. Now that's been my quick and dirty take on doing this kind of fun and interesting build, but what I would like to hear from you guys is how can I make it more interesting? How can I make it more fun? What would you do with a similar concept? Let me know in the comments down below. We've also got a Patreon. If you guys would like to show your support to the channel as well as get some benefits, go ahead and check it out. But other than that, I hope you have yourselves a lovely day. You guys are honestly amazing. The channel is steadily growing and I really appreciate your guys' support, and I hope to see you again on the next one. See you then.